All right, this is going to be a very simple customization guide. I'm basically going to be making a two-tone gun. I'm trying to make it a little bit tactical with the tactical rails installed as well. All right, so the first step, I need to remove the upper receiver from the lower receiver. So to do that, all you need to do is you need to cock the gun back, and then you press on this button on the back side, and that's going to unlatch the top receiver from the bottom, and you can pull that off. Set the grip to the side because we don't need to touch that. Now we're going to start disassembling the upper. So the first step I do is I take out these two screws back here holding in the rear iron sight. So to do that, put my Allen wrench in, I twist them until they come out. And in some of my other videos, the screws were all the same. In this video, they're all different. So you need to keep track of all the screws that you take out and where they go. And these are just using the 2mm Allen wrench again. Then you pop out the rear iron sight here, so that comes straight out. Set that to the side. Then you can grab your bolt and you can pull it straight out. A little bit of resistance, but that's the way that it's built. It's supposed to happen like that. So you can take that guy out, and now we're done over there. So now we're going to move on to the front here. On the front here, we got these two screws on the bottom. Same 2mm Allen wrench. I'm just going to take those guys out. So we're going to unscrew those. And these screws are the same thickness as the other ones, they're just longer. So you need to make sure you don't mix those up. And the screw in the front here it isn't really holding on to much, so it's not going to take a long time to take that one out. Now I'm going to remove the front iron sight because it's going to be going on my new barrel shroud up there. So to do that, you need a 1.5mm Allen wrench. Stick that guy in there, and if I can get it lined up in there correctly, be able to turn it. And once I get it going, it's going to be a little bit easier. All right, so we have that out. I'm going to set that over there to the side. And then to remove the front barrel from the rest of the receiver, all you got to do is you just pull a little bit. It's just kind of friction fit in there now that we took the screws out, and it's going to come out. It's going to be good. So we're not going to be using this today. We can just put this way off to the side. Now we're going to be doing these screws here. So you're going to take your 1.5mm again, and you're going to put that in there. And you just unscrew them, and same screw on both sides. Trying to throw my Allen wrench off the table. And there we go. Alright, so now you can take out the hop-up chamber from the barrel. So we're going to do that. And now the barrel's gone, and we're also not going to be using this today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our new barrel shroud. So this is a barrel shroud by Narcos Airsoft. It is an aluminum anodized barrel. I highly recommend this guy. Super nice quality, and it looks amazing. So we're going to put our front iron sight into the gun. So there's a little peg in there. You just put the peg in first, and then you're going to put the screw back in. So this is the 1.5mm screw, the long one that you have. This is my least favorite part of this portion of disassembly. I hate this screw, but it goes in there. And the front iron sight, you can kind of adjust windage, so you want to make sure that it's going to be lined up correctly before you start doing games with it or anything. So make sure it's lined up good and then get it tightened down all the way. And then we're good there. So now we're going to grab the hop-up chamber. So one side, there's going to be a piece that sticks out. That side is going to go into the barrel on the side that has the recess in it. All right, so it just goes straight into the gun, and there's an O-ring in the barrel, so it's going to be a very tight fit, but it goes in, and it goes in perfectly. And there we go. It's in there now. So now you're going to put in these screws here. So that's going to be the shorter 1.5 millimeter screws. So that goes there. You're going to grab your 1.5 millimeter. And you just screw that in all the way. And then same thing on the other side. And make sure you don't cross thread anything. It is possible to do because you have steel screws with an aluminum receiver, but it does go in. I'm just having a hard time. There we go, I got it. So get that guy in there all the way. Now we're done with 1.5 millimeter, and I'm happy about that because I hate that wrench. Now we're going to put on the receiver here. So this hook part is the part that goes towards the barrel. So you're going to put it in, but you're going to put it in sideways. So you're going to turn the barrel 90 degrees. You're going to push it through, and then once you get it in most of the way, then you're going to turn it back to the correct orientation, and you are good to go there. This step is only really important if you have the metal barrel. If you have the polymer barrel, you can only just put it straight in because polymer is going to be a little bit flexible. Now we're going to put the screws back in to connect the receiver to the barrel. Make sure it's in all the way, so it pushes in all the way to line up those two screws that were just there, and now it's in all the way. So you should only see two holes on the bottom side of the barrel now. You're going to grab the longer 2 millimeter screws, and those are going to go in up top facing towards you. And you're going to grab your 2 millimeter Allen wrench, and you're going to tighten it down. Remember, the front screw doesn't do much. It barely holds on. The rear screw is the one that's going to thread in a whole bunch though. So that screws in all the way. Make sure it's tightened down as much as it'll go. And then we are good there. All right? And then I always kind of just make sure nothing's wiggling around before I go any farther, because I don't want to have to take everything apart again. But we are good here. Now we're going to put the bolts back in. So the spring part goes towards the top, and then the bottom is going to have all your parts that interact with the other parts of the gun. So it just goes straight into the back. No tricks here. It'll just slide in. I think I get it lined up perfectly like that. We're good there. Then we're going to grab our iron sight again. That just pops back into the back piece, and then you're going to drop your screws in one by one. 2 millimeter Allen wrench again. This is super nice how everything's all the same size for the most part. You only have the little annoying 1.5 millimeter for a couple screws. Alright, so now we got that part all assembled. Already looking pretty nice. So we're going to put the front barrel nut onto the Gungan. So this piece is probably my favorite for this type of thing. It has an O-ring that is recessed all the way in there, so it's going to hold it onto the gun really, really nice. So basically you're going to get it going, and then you'll be able to spin it a whole bunch until the end, and at the end you're going to have to crank down a little bit to get it on all the way, and then you were good there. Now for the rails, We're going to start with the top rail first. So the top rail, it only goes on one way. If you put it on backwards, it's going to look dumb. So there's this little kind of cutout part. That part's going to go over the ejection port part of the gun. So you're going to put it on there, and you will know you put it on correctly if you have 2 bars in the front and then 1 bar in the back, and that's outside of the 2 screws here. All right. So now we're going to start putting the screws in for that. So we're going to grab our wrench again, and we're going to pop those in. And the holes on these are not pre-tapped, so while you put the screw in, you're basically making the threads on the receiver. That's how it is on the polymer receivers. If you do metal receiver, the metal receivers are going to be pre-tapped already. And make sure everything's all lined up correctly so you can actually get this guy in. All right. There we go. So you should be able to see only a little sliver on this side. Sliver through, if you can see my hand through there. And then the other side is going to have your whole bolt. That's going to be easily visible there. Now we're going to do the bottom rail. Very similar, except for this time the rail can go on whatever direction you want. It doesn't matter. There's no forwards or backwards on this rail. So we're going to get our Allen wrench and the screws ready again. And I have a metal barrel, so mine are pre-tapped. So mine going easy. Yours are going to take a little bit of force to go in because you're not going to have threads already on the part itself, whereas I do in this case. So that's going to go on there. Now I have that rail on there. So now I got the whole upper completed for what I'm doing today. And we're going to grab our lower receiver. We're going to pop it back on. And now I got our tactical AAP-01 aesthetic going on. We got all the rails. We got metal barrel, and then we did a swap out on the colors for the upper receiver and the lower receiver. This is just a stock one that I had laying around from some of the other builds that I've done recently. But there you have it. That is the basic kind of disassembly of the upper receiver, so taking out all the main chunks and re-putting them in into a different receiver, and also the installation of a metal barrel, which is super nice in my opinion. I think it adds a lot to the gun. All right, that is going to be it. All right, have a nice day.